See, the thing is this, what you've been practicing all your life and what you learned as a child was not the truth, right? But nonetheless, you became hypnotized into believing it is as being true, right? You learned that you are your body, you learn that you're in your body, right? And everybody else is behaving that way, right? And so that's the agreement about reality, right? And so your orientation would be that orientation, right? But it's not the truth. The truth is that you are not your body and you're not in your body. The truth is that you are awareness, and that's why this practice is a practice where you're not trying to be different, you're trying to be the same. You're not trying to be different, because I didn't say, try to be outside your body and be aware of everything, including your thoughts, including your body, including your feelings, including everything, right? As the ocean, right? Rather than the wave. Now that doesn't mean that you're not your body. The wave is the ocean, is it not, right? But it is, what we're talking about here is when you're not being the ocean and you're being the wave, you're disconnected from the truth, right? And so you're living the life as a person, as the wave, and you're disconnected, right? So all the activity that happens in the wave is very intense and disturbing, right? Because everything's happening to you, you're the wave, right? When you begin this reorientation process and begin to let go and allow yourself to be what you are, you're not changing anything, you're simply being consistent with the way things actually are. And as you practice this, right, gradually your orientation will begin to naturally shift. You will be retraining your brain, you'll be retraining your point of awareness, right? And how will you know you're succeeding, right? You'll be able to tell the difference. Because when you're being the ocean instead of the wave, when things are happening with the wave, right, you're seeing it from outside of it. This is what I've talked about psychologically to you before, right? Because when you through practicing meditation and understanding some of the things that these teachings provide to you, you begin to be able to see you begin to be able to see the person in operation. You're not being the person, you're seeing the person. So when you get upset, when you get triggered, right, the shift begins to occur where now you see, this is what this other person's saying, this is what my mind is doing, this is what my emotions are doing, but you're not seeing it from that. You're aware of that, but you're not seeing it from that, and now you have the freedom not to have that determine you anymore, okay? So now we're talking about actually how to literally be the awareness, how to literally be the awareness. And this is the technique, by the way, that Nisargadatta, who was a famous, well-known guru from India, this is the technique that his guru gave him. Right? And when he was asked about his process of waking up and his process of realizing his true nature, he said his guru, who he had 100% faith in the devotional traditions in India, that was the way you did things. You had a guru, and you had 100% trust in the guru. You did whatever the guru told you to do, and you accepted whatever the guru said. And Nisargadatta said that his guru told him to do this. What his guru told him is, he said to pay attention to the I am. The I am is the awareness before it becomes a person, right? So it's just I am, not I am a body, you see? I am, not I am a name. It's just I am, right? That's the first, that's when consciousness comes into existence in the human experience. It comes in as I am. Then it gets taken further into I am the body, I am a person, etc., etc. Right? The truth is I am is before the person, right? So, and the I am that is before the person is there all the time. It's always been there, right? But you became the wave and forgot about the ocean, right? So now it's going back and being the ocean, not trying to be the ocean. If you try to be the ocean, guaranteed failure. Guaranteed failure. And this goes back to what I've been talking about recently in terms of this idea of free will, right? The way the personality keeps you in the trance is to have you continue to believe that you can do something. That's the way the personality keeps you in the trance. And so if you try to become what you already are, you must fail. You must fail, because that's the personality thinking it can do something, right? So you must fail, right? And you can't try to become what you already are, because that doesn't make any sense. You already are what you already are. And if you just be that, what you're not will dissolve. You see? If you just, so you can't, so when I tell you to practice this, I'm not telling you to practice trying it, trying to do it, trying to be what you are. I'm telling you just be it. Know that you are the awareness and it is beyond the body. And just be it. Just take that view and then let yourself see from that view. That's the I am. You're letting yourself focus and pay attention to the I am. That's what Nisargadatta's guru told him to do. Pay attention to the I am. 24/7, moment to moment. Stay with the I am, right? That's just like what you were told as a child, right? Pay attention to you're the body. Look in the mirror, you're the body, right? Pay attention to your name. We'll keep calling you your name until you understand that's you, right? You're doing the same thing now, except this time you're going back to what was there before the trance. You're going back to what you were, so to speak, but that's always been the case, right? So it seems as though, but it's not really the case. You're not really going back to anything. You've always been the ocean, and you've always been the wave, right? But in the conditioning process and going through society and education and everything, you were told, no, you're just a wave. You follow what I'm saying? And you can see when I'm saying the things I'm saying based on the things we've been talking about for a long time here, that it starts to come together. The dots start to connect, right? And what I'm talking about now is that it's time to go beyond the dot. It's time to be able to go beyond the concepts, right? The concepts have the power up to a certain point, right? And then after that, there has to be ways and means that go directly, that are direct. They're not conceptual anymore. You're actually experientially entering into the domain of the reality of what you are, okay? There are different ways that can be done. There are different practices or approaches to that. One is total surrender. Another one is to have an absolute conviction. I was talking about that the other day, right? To have an absolute conviction that it's true, right? Instead of being a person attempting to experience what you are as awareness, you shift and be awareness attempting to get the person to express that. You shift. And that's what we're talking about here, but it's a very literal thing now, that you're literally taking the perception, the seeing, the awareness, the seeing, you're taking it out of here and you're putting it out here, right? Out here. This is awareness, right? When you put it out here, if you've practiced this consistently, which is the challenge, right? The first challenge in this is to practice it consistently. The first challenge in this is to simply remember to do it. And your personality will try and stop that, right? Because the personality is on the way out if you succeed, right? Up, put it up, above, right? Put it up above and allow the perception to be, that's the I am, right? That's the awareness, right? Beyond the I am is the absolute. You'll see this, if you get the link tonight, you'll see all this explained in a lot more detail than I'm talking about it, right? And it'll help you to understand, right? But you put your perception up here now, and your perception, is actually everywhere. Your perception is awareness itself, right? But it's no longer located here, so what happens here now doesn't have the same effect anymore. What happens here now could be emotional upset, right? But it's being experienced from the ocean, not the wave. It's being experienced from awareness, not the person. So the effect of it is much different. And your ability to be with it and not have it determine you starts to become real, starts to just happen. Because remember, what we're talking about here is the natural state. What we're talking about here is the way things actually are. The way people are living is not natural. To experience yourself as being a physical body and being in the body is not natural because it's not true. That's why when people go through these very intense physical experience, they have these out-of-body experiences. The out-of-body experience they're having is the natural experience, right? But we're all so hypnotized to be in the body that it takes a shock like that to put somebody out of the body. I saw an interesting thing the other day that said that people were talking about out-of-the-body experiences, and one of the things that's recorded about those experiences, a blind person, when they have an out-of-the-body experience, can see. Because awareness is not the body. It's amazing. Yeah. What happens if you practice this and you become more proficient at experiencing the natural state, experiencing reality, right? The body sleeps, but you're awake the whole time. That's what they call lucid dreaming. I don't know if anybody's heard of lucid dreaming. Yeah, lucid dreaming is you're dreaming, but you're awake. You're awake while the dream is happening. So you know it's a dream. You're watching the dream happen, right? Versus a typical way when people dream, they're in the dream, right? But it's the same thing, you see. It's the same thing because you're the awareness, not the person dreaming. So you're aware of the person dreaming, and you can see the dream happening to the person. Right, it's called lucid dreaming. Yeah, well, it's not just the dream, you can change this dream too. Right, you can change this dream because when you come out of the story, when you come out of the person, you come out of the conditioning, you come out of the story, you come out of your DNA, right? So now, you know, the potential, the possibility that exists is creative now. Right? And so anything can happen now. It's different. It's different than if you're in the body and you're in the personality, you're on rails. What can happen is limited. It's limited to your conditioning. It's limited to your DNA. You can't think a thought outside of your conditioning. Right? But when you experience the natural state, when you begin to experience the reality of yourself, right? Thoughts can occur from there now. That's how Einstein said he discovered relativity. Because you're it. So if you think anything other than you is it, which is what you perceive, think, right? That's not it. And that's how he worked with people. But he was very outrageous. He would get very confrontative and yell at people and so forth. So, but this technique that I'm talking about here is the technique his guru gave him. And I think Benito studied him because he mentions his name in talking about this particular technique. And he uses the phrase I am, which comes directly from the Nisargadatta. And so one of the things I think is the case with Benito, I think he's authentic, right? But I think that he studied a lot of the masters and learned how to talk about this from them. But nonetheless, what he's sharing in this particular video is the clearest description of this process that I have seen. So I got to give him credit for that. You know, Nisargadatta may have talked about it, but he actually draws a diagram of it and shows you exactly what's going on. You know, when you experience what you experience that you are everything, not just everybody, everything. All there is you. All there is consciousness, right? But that's down the road. You see, because what I'm talking about now is to have an experience of what we've been talking about instead of just a concept about it. But in order to do that, you have to unprogram. You got to come out of a trance. You got to unprogram your brain. You got to unprogram your orientation, And so this is a very specific, clear way to do that, right? The key to remember is you're not trying to do anything. This is very important. You're not trying to do anything. You're being what you are. That's different. So you have to be careful about that. In this endeavor, any trying that you do will be going backwards. Same thing with meditation. I've said it here. Don't try and meditate, right? Don't try and meditate. If you try and meditate, that's the person trying to meditate. That won't work. That will only make the person realer. You see what I'm saying? So you don't try and meditate. You just sit there and let meditation be the truth. Let it happen. So I'll send you the link for those of you who are interested, and you can watch it, right? And then you can begin to practice. And you can practice it in formal meditation, but you can also practice it all the time. All the time. You know, as you're walking around in the world. And I can tell you from my own experience, having gone through this process, at a certain point, you don't even have to remember it. At a certain point, you shift into the natural state, and it begins to be the way it is. You begin to experience what's going on from the ocean, not the wave. It just starts to occur that way. And then as that occurs, it continues to get more and more refined, right? And the other thing that happens is you become aware of the absolute. Consciousness is the absolute manifesting in the incarnation of a human form. Consciousness is the absolute manifesting as consciousness in the human form. If you can be aware of consciousness, there must be something beyond that, right? And that's called the absolute. That's even before anything manifests, right? So this is a whole new playing field now, right? This is, we're out of grade school here, right? So it's up to you. This is something you have to choose, and if you choose it, the only way it makes sense to choose it is to understand what it's going to take and be willing to do it.